Welcome to the Louisiana swamp, where the cypress trees twist and turn and the air is thick with fog and mysteries. As the sun goes down, strange sounds fill the night. The rustle of creatures in the bushes, the hoot of owls and croaking of frogs, maybe even a subtle splash from a lurking alligator or two. But suddenly, something else wails out from the distance. A howl breaking the calm routine of the other creatures. A cry that warns of danger for those who have wandered into the bayou grounds. Stick with us as we dive into the unknown and explore the dark secret of the swamp known as the Rougarou. Hello everyone and welcome to Wicked Encounters, where we explore just what goes bump in the night. I'm your host Allie, and today we're going to talk about the Rougarou. In the swamplands of Louisiana, parents have a different way of keeping their children in line. Forget about the boogeyman or the monster in your closet your parents can't see. They've got the Rougarou, a creature that once was human but transformed into a wolf-like shape-shifting beast. That's right, I'm back into my favorite kind of creatures, the wolf beasts. The Rougarou is a creature that is said to stand between 7 and 8 feet tall, walking on 2 legs, lurking in the shadows of the bayou. According to the tales spun by parents, this mysterious creature has a taste for mischief, particularly when it comes to little children who dare venture out past their curfew or refuse to listen. It's not just a kid's fairy tale either. Grown-ups scattered across the parish swear they've caught glimpses of the Rougarou prowling through the brush in the dark. The Rougarou possesses the body of a man with a head resembling a wolf. Its eyes are red and bloodshot, piercing through the darkness as it prowls the bayou under the cover of night seeking its prey. With a large muscular frame, fur the color of charcoal, and long sharp teeth and claws, it's truly an apex predator, possessing the ability to run on 2 feet, although it often adopts a stalking posture on all 4s, pausing to sniff the air with its keen senses. There are other tales that the creature has a resemblance closer to that of a Choctaw, a Native American cryptid that is a shape-shifting owl witch. But I prefer the wolf version, because reasons. Even if the owl one would make more sense, because they don't really have any wolves in Louisiana, and never really did. The Rougarou is rumored to be driven by an insatiable thirst for blood, and is even said to have the power to curse those who see it with a lifetime of bad luck and misfortune, adding an eerie and menacing quality to its nocturnal presence. Even worse, unlike many wolf-turned creatures, the Rougarou maintains its human intelligence, making it harder to outsmart the monster. The tale of the Rougarou has been part of Cajun stories for centuries, starting with the French settlers who decided to call Louisiana their home, and was initially based off of the legend of the Loup-garou, which is werewolf in French, though Rougarou and Loup-garou are used interchangeably in Louisiana, much like how Champ and Champy are in Vermont. No, I'm not ever going to drop it. It's still the stupidest reason I've ever received a death threat, so go ahead and @me. Here are my socials. Have fun! The Rougarou was once a normal human, who broke their promised abstinence during Lent and became cursed as a result, transforming into the insatiable Rougarou that hunts down and kills other Catholics who do not follow the rules of Lent at night. During the day, they return to their human form, ill and sickly, though they refuse to share their trouble with others in fear of being killed. I don't really blame them. It's kind of weird to just let the local, guy who just admitted to murdering a whole bunch of people just kind of roam around. Kind of like, what do you do after that? Do you just let them back into normal society when that's fixed? Or do you just, stick them in the swamp and wait for the gator to get them? Speaking of, the curse is not permanent and only sticks around for 101 days, after which the curse is transferred from person to person when the Rougarou draws another human's blood. Kind of like a vampire in a way. There's also the belief that the Rougarou curse is caused by a local witch or voodoo priestess turning into a wolf and biting someone, so be careful who you talk to who has a biting kink, especially if she makes voodoo dolls or casts spells. Fortunately, there are some ways you can keep yourself safe from the Rougarou. It's said that silver can help keep the Rougarou away from you, much like with any werewolf. But interestingly, they are also apparently afraid of frogs, which is super unfortunate considering they live in a swamp, so maybe keep a pocket frog or something with you if you decide to go on a night walk through the bayou. You can also keep the symbolic Gator Man effigy on you, which possesses the head of an alligator with the body of a man, a standard furries meeting scalies seen on the internet. They never get along and usually avoid each other, at least in my experience. You can also throw salt at them, which apparently causes them to burst into flames if it lands on them. Big on thought! Rougarous also can't count past 12, so if you have 13 items on you, they may try to count them, get confused, and try again in a perpetual loop until the sun comes up and they have to flee. Please note that gators don't give a single fuck about frogs, effigies, silver, or your ability to carry an absurd amount of items, so it is still advised to just not go swamp venturing at night, but you do you. The Rougarou has had its fair number of sightings throughout the years ever since Louisiana was settled, though most have been easily written off as hoaxes or misidentified animals. In recent years, there have been several reported sightings, including one in 2016, when a video was posted online showing what appeared to be a large, dark figure with glowing eyes walking through a residential neighborhood. Though that was the only real sighting I was able to find worth mentioning. Many locals in the area take the sighting seriously, and continue to search for evidence of the creature, with more than a few cryptozoologists taking a trip into the swamps, though none have come back with anything substantial as of yet. Though now thinking on it, if you see a Rougarou and the curse is to be believed in that you will have a lifetime of bad luck, then wouldn't it make sense that no one believes you, or that any evidence you might find could be explained as something else? Coincidence? Haha! The Rougarou does not have your standard friendly neighborhood cryptid attitude, but like most cryptids, it's been getting morphed and changed in recent years as more terrors begin to encroach in its area. Many of the swamps that helped shape Cajun culture and folklore have been cut off from the Mississippi River due to river levees constructed for flood protection and navigation. Great in theory and for human settlements, but the Mississippi River was the source that built and maintained these swamps. And without it, these ecosystems become starved of sediment and flowing water, leaving trees and stagnant waters that are too deep for new trees to sprout, and making them vulnerable to rising sea levels and storms that bring in salty water from the Gulf. It's not exactly a slow death either. Louisiana wetlands lose a football field of territory every 100 minutes, making life more and more difficult and soon potentially impossible for the wildlife there. With how influential the Rougarou once was, it's now returning as a more positive influence as the mascot for the protection of the Louisiana wetlands and with the Rougarou Fest in Houma. At this annual October event, there are carnival rides, live music, hot air balloons, outdoor movies, booths, a costume contest that was ranked as one of the top 10 costume parties in the United States by USA Today, and so very much more. It's a long list, almost like Hodag Fest long. The costume contest in particular has participants donning outfits of their interpretation of the Rougarou, with more than a few making it an eco-activist for the swamps. Festivals and eco-activism isn't the only place where the Rougarou has been seen in recent history either. The Rougarou has been featured in multiple episodes of Supernatural, and more than a few books, including J.K. Rowling, who writes about it and is still a controversial figure, but we're not getting into that. The NBA team formerly known as the New Orleans Hornets, now the New Orleans Pelicans, had actually considered becoming the Rougarous, which would have been super cool in my opinion. There's also a roller coaster ride at the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio that is styled like the Louisiana swamps, with speakers to build the atmosphere with creaking wood, croaking frogs, and the occasional supernatural roar of the Rougarou itself. There's also an entire exhibit for the cryptid at the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans, which includes a statue of the Rougarou in its home swamps. I'd love to go see it someday. Maybe just take a week-long vacation to see the zoo, the festival, and partake in some ghost walks at the same time. But what about you? While the Rougarou may not be proven to be a tangible flesh and blood creature yet, its presence in various forms of entertainment and culture has definitely left its mark. Do you think the bayou werewolf might actually be closer to a bayou were-owl similar to the Choctaw? Have you ever been to Rougarou Fest, or do you want to go to it? Let me know in the comments. I read them all for future video ideas and to see how many other wonderful people enjoy the supernatural side of life like myself. If you want to see what I release in the future, consider subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with others who like spooky things. If you'd like to support me in other ways, consider checking out my Patreon or maybe joining my Discord, where we can chat about potential topics to be covered. Many of my videos are thanks to suggestions given to me, so feel free to let me know what you'd like to see covered next. With that, I'm Allie, this is Wicked Encounters, and I'll see you next time. Bye!